Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me on my first ever political podcast. I just want to kind of introduce myself and give you kind of a synopsis of what the whole goal of this is. My name is Zack G. Many people here in Santee know me as Zack G for D3. In 2018, I was a political candidate for city council here, finishing with about 30% of the vote on my first ever election, of many more to come. I'm 25 years old. I got my bachelor's degree from the University of California, San Diego, in political science, international relations. My goal of this political podcast is to hopefully provide clarity on a very confusing culture. My goal is to not just engage with the powers that be, but those who seek to change the narrative like myself. This political podcast will also touch upon ideas and perspectives on current events. A very important goal of mine is to provide more critique and analysis on what's happening here in Santee. I know many people in Santee don't have the time or energy to pay close attention to the political networks that dominate this area, but I do. And I feel obligated to share those perspectives with everyone and to call out the unethical behavior that seems to be normalized here in Santee. I make it a strong point to make sure that all my criticisms are political and positional and not personal. Now, many have a difficult time on distinguishing the two, but I will do my best to provide a clear contrast. Now, these videos will range from the current events happening here on a local level, on a state level, and on a federal level. The idea of the podcast is to provide a very different perspective and narrative to a toxic climate. Now, with growing frustrations of the political establishment, I want to provide an alternative for not just those that have been entrenched in the mudslinging for decades, but to inspire not just my generation, but the following generations to be more politically engaged and involved, rather than taking the easy way out, which is just to be disenfranchised and say, forget it. I'm a very optimistic person, but don't take that as me being naive. I refuse to accept the idea that we must accept the way things are. The reason this country is so great is because we have done just the opposite, not accept the way things are. And we've believed in something better, and I believe in something better. And I want to make sure that through this podcast, I provide those options to not just voters, but like I said, up-and-coming leaders. So we're just rolling with the punches here. I want to make sure this is fun, engaging, and I will make my best effort to improve this whole experience for you. But please subscribe, stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in for Zack G, and let's be the change that we want to see.